Welcome to a Legendarium special about the first Christmas, known as Roman Saturnalia. In this episode, we will talk about the holiday's evolution from a simple festival celebrated by the early Romans to a truly imperial revel. Saturnalia, held in mid-December, is an ancient Roman festival honoring the farming god Saturn. The most popular holiday on the Roman calendar, Saturnalia derived from older farm rituals held during midwinter and the winter solstice, especially the practice of offering sacrifices to the gods during the winter sowing season. They may have involved human sacrifice in lean years. During the early Roman Republic, Saturnalia was celebrated in a single day. As the Republic grew, so did Saturnalia. From as early as 217 BC, there were public Saturnalia banquets. The Roman state canceled executions and refrained from declaring war during the festival. And by the time of Julius Caesar, it had expanded into a week-long festival beginning December 17th. And on the Julian calendar, which the Romans used at the time, the winter solstice fell on December 25th. During that week, work and business came to a halt, schools and law courts closed, and all normal social patterns were suspended. People decorated their homes with wreaths and other greenery and shed their togas in favor of colorful clothes called synthesis. Even slaves did not have to work during Saturnalia, but participated in the festivities. In some cases, they even sat at the head of the table while their masters served them. Instead of working, Romans spent Saturnalia gambling, singing, playing music, feasting, and exchanging gifts. Wax candles called ceri became common presents to signify light returning after the solstice. Other gifts included caged birds and dolls. Drinking was a popular pastime, with slaves helping masters to throw up by sticking their finger down their throats so the masters could drink even more. Accounts also tell of Romans throwing cups against the wall to ask for another round. At least one slave had to work as puke collector, cleaning up what the household members threw up. Such people could not interrupt the party by sneezing, coughing, or hiccuping, and if someone washed their hands, they would dry them on the puke collector's hair. If nothing else, the puke collector was thanked with extra food and drink for playing this role. On the last day of Saturnalia, called the Sigillaria, many Romans gave their friends and loved ones small terracotta figurines known as signallaria, which referred back to older celebrations involving human sacrifice. By far the jolliest Roman holiday, the Roman poet Catullus called it the best of times. The Roman author Pliny reportedly built a soundproof room so he could work during the raucous celebrations. Going into the imperial era, role reversal became more popular. The wealthy were expected to pay the month's rent for those who couldn't afford it, while masters and slaves swapped clothes. A poet named Lucian of Samosata wrote of the holiday, "During the week, the serious is barred, no business is allowed, drinking and being drunk, noise and games of dice, appointing of kings and feasting of slaves, singing with no clothes on, clapping, and an occasional ducking of corked faces in icy water mark the holiday." Emperor Domitian was a particular fan of Saturnalia, holding games which opened with sweets, fruits, and nuts being showered on the crowd. Before the main event, they would release flights of flamingos over the city, and the shows pitted fighting dwarves and female gladiators against one another in nighttime battles illuminated by torchlight. During the 4th century AD, the Romans built the Temple of Saturn to serve as their center for Saturnalia celebrations. Constructed in the 4th century AD to replace an earlier temple, the Temple of Saturn in Rome served as the ceremonial center for the holiday. On the first day of festivities, a young pig would often be publicly sacrificed at the temple, which was located in the northwest corner of the Roman Forum. The cult statue of Saturn in the temple traditionally had woolen bonds tied around his feet, but during Saturnalia, the bonds were loosened to symbolize the god's liberation. In many households, members chose a mock king called the Saturnalicus Princeps, or leader of Saturnalia. They did so by hiding coins in cakes, and the person who found the coin cake became the Princeps. The person also became known as the Lord of Misrule, a phrase that survived into the Christian era. Usually a lowlier member of the household, like a slave, this figure took charge of mischief during the celebrations by insulting guests, wearing outrageous clothing, and chasing women. Yet Saturnalia did not have long to go as the Romans knew it. In 312 AD, the conversion of Emperor Constantine to Christianity ended Roman persecution of Christians and began imperial patronage of churches. For a generation at least, the festival of Saturnalia continued to honor the pagan god Saturn, even though there was a Christian on the throne. Curiously, during the first 2 centuries of Christianity, there was strong opposition to recognizing birthdays of martyrs, or for that matter, the birthday of Jesus. Church fathers made sarcastic comments about the pagan custom of celebrating birthdays when, in fact, saints and martyrs should be honored on the days of their martyrdom, their true birthdays in the eyes of the Church. Yet pagans and Christians coexisted during this period, not always happily, and this was probably an effort to convince the remaining pagan Romans to accept Christianity. It is unclear when December 25th became identified as Christ's birthday, but it coincided with the last day of Saturnalia. Like many other pagan temples, holidays, and even gods, Saturnalia would be Christianized and made to support the church. That wraps things up for this episode of the Legendarium. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, press like. If you want to see more, press subscribe. And if you've got anything to say, let me know in the comments section. Thanks again for joining me, and I hope that you have a great rest of the day.